Well, hi, and hi to the woman of the future, but also hi to the men here tonight. You know, you are extraordinarily outnumbered, you're in the minority, so men, take note how that feels. Also, to the woman here tonight, just give the man a bit of a break tonight. It is hard being a man. Hard maybe isn't quite the right word, more embarrassing. With you have a look at what's happened in the last few weeks, clearly we have a lot really we need to learn. But you know what, also when you stand here tonight, when you're addressing an audience of 600 women like this, women, extraordinary women, talented women who have achieved so much, I know I speak for all of us here, it's quite humbling. It really is inspirational, and it's also somewhat intimidating. But unlike men, if I'm addressing a man's audience, I know you won't judge me for it. But you know, Pinky said before, this is our 11th birthday. This is the 11th birthday of these awards, and this is the second time that Aviva has been the headline sponsor with all the other sponsors. But Aviva last week, actually, we celebrated our 320th birthday exactly last week. We started in 1696. So I thought for a bit of fun, I'd have a look and I'd delve back in our archives, because misogynistic behaviour, unfortunately, is not new. And so, Aviva, in our history, we also have not been immune. So I delved back in our archives. You want to hear what we said? Uh-oh. I'll read it to you specifically. This was the magazine. It was in the weekly magazine that said this: women in their inmost hearts would really much rather have homes than offices to manage. Oh. Really? Or the even more condescending, it will take a generation for women to develop and become capable of taking on the administration of large staffs. We may, however, expect a few to rise above the crowd and make a name for themselves. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have 600 of those few here tonight. And to the author of that 50 years ago, I say good luck with that approach. You know, at last year's awards, afterwards, and I was talking to some of the award winners, and there was some extraordinary award winners, and you know, what Pinky's done with this organisation over these years, she is the real role model, and everyone agrees with that. I mean, it's what is, Pinky, what you have, yeah. You want role models, you only have to look here. And after last year's awards, one of the award winners said, you know, what would you say if you were your 21-year-old self coming out of university and going to business? So I thought I'd give that a go, and so I thought I'd give just a little bit of advice to my 21-year-old self, and it goes something like this: first, get a haircut. Second, get a woman boss. My first boss was a woman, and it made my career. Third, get a woman mentor. It's different from a woman boss. Fourth, become a mentor for a woman. Buy good shoes, hey, and everyone likes that sort of advice, so buy good shoes. But spend more time understanding the barriers to women. Be one of the people who takes away the barriers to women. And if you don't think there were barriers like I didn't when I was 21, then wake up. And the last piece of advice I give myself is be authentic. Being authentic as a leader is not trying to be a woman or a man as society sees you. It's about being you, because fundamentally that is the real value you add to your organisation or to your sport or to your art or to whatever field you wish to excel in. Now, by the way, I also have some really wonderful key advisors in Aviva, women, and a number of these women are here tonight that I'm privileged to have around me. So I also asked them, I said, tell me the three things, the three messages that you would say to millennial women, to women of the future. And they said these three things. They said, take roles or challenges in which you wake up in the morning without knowing how you're going to do it. Men always think they can. Women need encouragement too often. And that stretch, I'd really echo that thought. Second, they would say, build a close network of allies around you early, both women and men. And invariably, it gets lonelier in whatever field of your endeavour as you get closer to the top. And if you build that network early, it really makes a difference. And thirdly, and I think most importantly, don't try and fit into a man's world, make it a woman's world. And you know, there are some women in the world who are making it a woman's world. We now have a new Prime Minister who's a woman, our second one, of course. We have in Scotland the First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, is also a woman. And, you know, it was only a few weeks ago when Nicola Sturgeon met Theresa May at 10 Downing Street for some pretty crunch talks on Brexit. And one of the big newspapers, the national newspapers, who shall remain nameless, focused on the things and reporting it that really, really, really mattered. They said, and I quote to you, Nicola Sturgeon wore blue snakeskin heels to go toe-to-toe with a shoe-loving Theresa May yesterday. Now, don't get me wrong, shoes are important. I've got loads of them. But as a Brexit issue, really? And it's time the media also got real in this country. And, ladies and gentlemen, we clearly have a long way to go before we break down the barriers, before women break out of the bubble that was spoken about, I know, today. And that's the responsibility of you and me and all of us. And finally, you know, whatever your thoughts on the US election, and I'm sure we have many, look past all the hot air and the rhetoric and all the barbed comments. It was extraordinary. There was one particular quote that stood out to me, and it won't surprise you to know that that wasn't from Donald Trump. And the quote was from Hillary Clinton in what must have been one of the toughest times in her life. It was in her concession speech. And you'll know the quote, and she said this. She said, "To all the little girls watching, never doubt that you're valuable and powerful and deserving of every chance and every opportunity in the world. Woman of the future, I applaud you."